Hello, everyone. I'm Josh Oakes in Los Angeles, California, and I'm with smartsocial.com. And today I have some awesome guests from multiple countries, and we're going to talk about something really important. What hobbies should your student get involved with to make sure that they're shining online for colleges so they have a great story in their interview, so they have something awesome to talk about, and so they can develop as a human and really learn what they're good at and bad at? I have some awesome people here today from all over. First, we're starting in Canada, and we're going to go to Carrie. Carrie is coming at us live from Canada, and she's going to talk to us about a tip called pick a skill or interest and stick with it. Carrie, what do you mean by that?
We all have kind of innate interests that we find when we're younger, and this is something we should foster in ourselves and in our children. And if a student can actually really embrace that and build skill around it and realize that they don't have to have some innate talent, but that if they work hard and with discipline and focus build their skill around that, that is something that they can easily share and make them stand out as an individual to universities.
That's awesome. Okay, so next, we're jumping back over now to the next person, and that person's going to be Elizabeth. Elizabeth Stitt, you are in San Francisco, California right now. Talk to us about your tip, which is using your hobby to give back.
Yeah, I just want to jump off of Carrie and say, yeah, it's not about innate talent. It's about drive and interest, and then just putting in the time that builds the skill over it. I mean, most things are just a skill that can be learned and practiced. And if you can find something which then connects you to other people or gives back to other people, I think that is really enriching for you as an individual. It sort of connects you to, well, why do I do this? Right? There might be a certain sense of just, it's my own creative expression or pleasure. But when we go further than that, it really connects us back to the community. My daughter was a freak for pottery. She happened to have a program at school where she could do it. And I mean, literally, I wish I could show you the number of things she's given me, but the whole family has gotten things. And so there's a certain amount of pride and ownership there. And it happens to be useful things too, right? So that's kind of cool too. And a couple of years, she was able to participate in a program where the potters created bowls, which they then donated to a fundraising event to raise awareness around hunger. And, you know, people who came were then able to take away that bowl and to know, oh, that's the bowl I got the night I went to the dinner to raise awareness about hunger. And so every time they use that bowl, it reminds them of that event. And she was part of that. And
yeah.
Quite aside from, getting into college, that continues to be something that was meaningful to her.
Yeah, that's awesome. She was doing what she loves, giving it away, helping other people. I love that. Next, we're on to Atlanta, Georgia. Kristen Moon, you talk about spending your summer job shadowing. This is one of my favorite tips because everybody thinks, oh, I have to just go get a job immediately. But you're saying doing something a little bit different, which I love. Talk to us about shadowing and how we might consider doing that.
Sure. Well, I find that a lot of students, high school students, when they fill out their applications, they may say, I want to be a doctor or I want to be a dentist, but they don't really realize what the hands-on day-to-day activities are involved in such occupations. So starting as early as 9th grade, I encourage the students I work with to gain hands-on experience. And a lot of times the job shadowing is not published. You can't necessarily apply online. Sometimes the doctors or dentists or whatever field the student's interested in, they don't even realize what job shadowing is. And it could be anywhere from a week to the whole summer where they basically follow the professional and not only learn from the professional, but try to add value to the practice as well. Mm-hmm. So most of the students obtain these job shadowing positions simply by calling up the individual office and telling them what they have to offer, such as, high school students nowadays are so advanced with social media. Maybe they'll offer to do a social media project for the practice, or even data entry, working at the front desk, something to add value while they're gaining value by following the doctor, maybe taking notes for the doctor or the dentist, or even someone in IT. So it's really like hands-on learning experience, and it really helps them realize, is this the career that I want to do? Is this something I want to major in?
I love that. And you're basically saying, don't just take the highest paid job, do something that may be for free for a week or a summer if you can afford it because you're living with your parents. Do
Yeah.
something that gives you more value, which can pay dividends in 10 years. Okay, so next we're over to Lindsay in Chicago. Lindsay talks about how to use your extracurricular activities to enhance your college application. Lindsay, talk to us about that.
Yeah, so for me, I believe that it's more about consistency of your application, more about the depth of what you're doing, and then making sure kind of it's how you do it, not what you do. So if you're interested in, say, medicine, making sure that you're volunteering at a hospital and getting into depth with those activities so that later on you're able to write about it for your college essays and to ultimately kind of prove to a college that that is indeed what you're interested in. So it's really honing in on what skills you want to pursue and what major you're interested in, maybe as opposed to being kind of well-rounded in every facet, really honing in on those particular skills.
I like that. That's great. So next we have in Michigan, Janet, and you're talking to us a little bit about consider tutoring younger students. Talk to us about that.
I think that there's a stereotype of young people that they're just self-centered. And I think if you can show a college or university that you care about people in your community or younger people or people who are disabled, I think it's a real plus on your application. So if you tutor younger kids or kids from a disadvantaged area or handicapped kids in sports or in math or in reading or something like that, I think it's really impressive to colleges. Or if you visit older people in retirement communities, it shows the college people that you really care about others. You're not just self-centered.
A very good tip. So tutoring other people. And now next we're talking with in New Mexico, Santa Fe, New Mexico, all over the map today. Couldn't be more honored. From the MIT Fab Lab Network, we have Sarah. Sarah, you talk about maker hobbies and how they build skills that colleges are looking for. Talk to us about what is a maker hobby real quick, and then how can and why should students be a part of this to start to build stuff?
Well, actually, the activities that go on in Fab Labs and maker spaces cover a lot of the topics that people just mentioned. And so the kinds of things that we do are things like robotics and 3D printing and laser cutting and making things. And so it shows that you can actually produce and not just understand something theoretically. Many of the programs, and it's very easy to join a makerspace or a Fab Lab throughout the country. They're in every town and city, even small rural areas have them. Many of them do projects that are community-based. And so they'll go into the community and we do project-based learning, and so we'll look at an issue and help solve that problem. Many of them are involved with the Enable Hand projects. So my group, for example, 3D prints prosthetic hands for a couple $100s that would normally cost thousands of dollars, and we give them to children with no hands. And so that's a really wonderful project that not only shows empathy and community involvement, but also takes a fair amount of skill. It teaches many of the kinds of things that people were discussing. So it kind of pulls together a lot of the things that colleges are looking for, and many jobs today are new collar jobs. So jobs that become digital, and to have expertise in a new collar job is really a hot ticket to a college entrance.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It put practical and tactical, as I like to say, gives kids ways to use tools to build stuff. That's amazing. Okay, let's review really quickly kind of what we talked about. Carrie taught us that picking a skill or interest and sticking with it is helpful. Elizabeth said, use your hobby to give back. Love that. Something you like and you're helping others. Kristen from Atlanta, Georgia said, spend your summer job shadowing. Probably one of my favorite tips, because I don't think enough people know this and they're looking at a dollar sign instead of doing cool work and learning from the best. Lindsay from Chicago said, use your extracurricular activities to enhance your college application. So wise. And then Janet said, consider tutoring younger students. She's in Michigan. and helping those. And it's just a great story. And you're also meeting great people. And then Sarah, you in New Mexico talked about that Maker Hobbies, which I love. It's all about 3D printing and all kinds of different stuff that you're learning how stuff works, but you see an outcome. That's really great. I want to do just a quick round robin. If any of you have this, and I want to thank all of you for joining us today. What's a one of those I heard programs where maybe people have a frequently asked question and they say, oh, for instance, I think we're going to go over to Carrie here real quick. And Carrie, you said that sometimes people say, I heard that if my student doesn't have a talent in that area or isn't extremely gifted, that we should just give up on that topic and move to another one. What would you say to somebody that says that?
Talent is overrated. People can have a natural inclination towards an ability and a skill set, for example, the arts, which is my background, but that doesn't mean they're going to actually show up and do the work to really build the skill and extend themselves. And if you look at art history, the people who we identify as genius were people who worked hard and worked within a specific skill set to build their skill, to practice and get feedback and grow. The students that I have had great success in getting into university stand out because they've actually pushed themselves in their skill development in a topic that they care about, like the arts. And so many parents have said to me that, you know, my kid's not naturally good at art, it's impossible, but that's actually false information. And if your son or daughter is interested in the arts, then give them the opportunity to develop that skill and use it as a way to share their unique voice and stand out in their application.
I love that. That's amazing. Any other tips any of you have? Maybe some frequently asked questions that you've heard from people that might be a little bit off or a little bit wrong? Yes, go ahead, Elizabeth.
I just wanted to kind of say the opposite of what Carrie said is true too, that sometimes parents see that their child has an aptitude in an area and they really push the child to pursue that area. And it's not something that the kid really feels passionate about. And the answer I hate the most is, you know, why are you doing this? Oh, well, I guess because I'm good at it. That's just depressing to me, right? If there's not some element of it calls me or I love it or, you know, I'm always doodling anyway. So then it just came out of that. And then I started learning more. That's what you want to hear, that there was something innate in the child that was really pushing them, not a parent recognizing his talent and going, okay, this is what you're going to do.
That's a great tip. So anybody else have any other tips for maybe parents that are wondering what kind of skill set would my kids have, or hobbies, or any direction or any ideas? Sarah, do you see anything on students that come into your type of community where they discover something fascinating and parents go, wow, I never would have known that until I came in?
Yeah, and particularly for girls. And so the parents think, oh, well, making is for boys. And the truth is that because it's become digital, the girls actually in many cases do better than the boys. More of my 3D printing classes are female than male. And the girls have a real sense of accomplishment, you know, in, like somebody was saying about making the pottery. I mean, that they then can bring to their parents, and the parents are usually shocked. And they're also shocked by the way that the kids can go into a community and identify a problem. So our inner city Boston Fab Lab in Roxbury, which is not a high-end neighborhood, will go into their local grocery store and look for things that the people are struggling with, particularly the elderly. And our group of little boys, middle school kids, and little girls developed a sensor for a carriage in the grocery store so that the old people who were hunched over wouldn't be hitting the people in front of them. And it had a feedback loop that put a brake on. And it's a simple little thing, but now they're not running over everybody. And it was these little boys and girls in middle school. So it's not too young to start is part of it. And the other thing is it's a great outlet for women. And I can tell you, as being a woman who owned a laser manufacturing company, there are many opportunities for you if you are a woman in high tech. And I think to encourage girls when they're young and to get them feeling like that's a fun thing to do, which it is.
Yeah, that's a really great tip. And I'm hearing a theme from all of you, and this is one of our themes. You know, as I travel the country speaking to students about how to shine online, one of my biggest themes with parents is first audit your child online to see what's out there, what other people are saying. You know, other people have the same name as your kid because we're big on Google results. The second thing is take your kids to a college or any kind of job. That's the one thing my dad did really well. Is he said, that person's successful. Here's $20. We weren't wealthy. Here's $20. Go buy them lunch and learn from them, right? Look at success and shadow that. That's why I love that shadowing technique. And one of the things we tell parents is get your kid out of the living room, go onto a college campus and look at the bigger world around them. Don't tell them to not misbehave on Snapchat, but rather look at that college campus from elementary school and middle school ages, and obviously in high school, and they'll think differently because if they're in a maker fair type of thing set up or in a community like that, they will think differently about stuff in the classroom. So get them out of their comfort zone, get them into cool stuff, and they're going to behave differently in other situations. Couldn't be more passionate about that. To all of you ladies, thank you. This is a very diverse audience here today, I'd say. This is great. So I really appreciate all of you to be here today. And those of you that are watching or listening to us live, you can learn more on Smart Social, where you can see links behind all these terrific people that are on here today from all over the country and in Canada. As always, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite. Your kids are watching, and we've got a lot to do to make sure that we shine online. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Have a great day.